Cosmic Protector. Oh. Hi, I'm Christina Ho. I play Betty on Beast Morphers.
Hi, I'm Abraham Rodriguez, aka AB Baby, aka Nate Silva, aka the Gold Ranger on Beast Morphers.
And you should follow Cosmic Protector
on Patreon.
Hi, I'm Christina Ho, and I play Betty on Beast Morphers.
Hi, I'm Abraham Rodriguez, aka AB Baby, aka the Gold Ranger. Oh, I already messed up my intro.
Hi, I'm Christina Ho, and I play Betty on Beast Morphers.
Hi, I'm Abraham Rodriguez, aka AB Baby, aka Nate Silva, aka the Gold Ranger on Beast Morphers.
And you should follow Cosmic Protectors on Patreon!
Ranger Nation has united. We are together as one, talking about a crossover as we are crossing over in real life, at least as much as we can via pandemic. But we have a lot to talk about today, and we have a lot of people in the chat, and I appreciate every single one of your lovely faces for joining us live. We are joined by, as you guys already know, my compadres, Jezer, Corey, and Toku. But let me introduce you to Eric Berry.
Hey, how's it going?
From Ranger Command Power Hour. We got the Morphin Network in the house. There's Leo and Ryan Guetta. Tokuchris, how you doing, my friend?
Yo, what's going on, brother?
Airlim, I love your videos, my friend. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. I love yours as well.
Oh, thank you. And somebody else I love very much, RangerLiz, how you doing? Uh-oh, Liz. Your audio's out again. Dang it.
I was trying to be considerate, and I muted myself because I didn't want to have any extra audio.
Oh, no,
I'll stop doing that now.
How dare you be considerate?
But yes, this is our Ranger Nation panel. This was a big episode. I don't know if we want to kick right into it, but let's recap a little bit. So leading up to this, obviously, there was a few episodes that kind of got us engaged into this big team up. Just off the top of your heads, and Airlim, I saw that you did I think it was 28 things you may have missed, 28 Easter eggs that were in those episodes. But let's chat up about those episodes leading. What'd you guys think about those?
The lead up was great. I really liked it. I just think the deliverance at the end was a little bit poor, but it worked perfectly. I was very surprised because all the episodes didn't have like part 1, part 2, so it's kind of like a
I thought the same thing. I think if you put it all together, it makes like a perfect crossover. If they were just to do that and like film it all together and put it as one whole like little mini movie, it would have been great.
Now, RangerLiz, I have to ask you. So there was a clip show that we got was really focused on the villains. Initially, let's take all the voice acting out of it real quick. What did you think about that episode in particular?
Man, I thought it was going to be a Halloween clip show. Like when we all saw it, where I was just expecting, I was like, okay, it's going to be weird, but they're maybe toying with us, making us wait an extra day to watch it. And then all of a sudden it comes up and I'm like, whoa, what? I loved it. And I get like the voice acting. Yeah, the dubs were a little rough. It's like, I understand why, but as a fan, it still kind of stinks. But it just made me so excited because if you don't watch it, if you think it's just going to be this filler episode, you go into Grid Connection, you're like, wait, what did all this happen? And they perfectly made this clip show monster bash go right into like the biggest episode of the year. Yeah. And I loved it for that fact that they made it work like that.
Now, Tokuchris, I know that you have a little bit of insight on why why some of the audio tracks may not or were dubbed over, and you got the answer from Kyle Higgins himself. What was the explanation behind that?
So, Kyle went on Twitter. I reached out to him just a little bit about the team up because he still follows Power Rangers. He just may not talk about it very much, but he basically said the masters that you see, or at least the highest quality files that they have that Saban had that now Hasbro has, they're supposed to have 4 audio channels. Should be stereo left, stereo right. like music or sound effects or whatever, and then audio isolation, or dialogue isolation, excuse me. And when he did the Shattered Grid live action trailer or whatever, they went back to find certain clips, and the highest quality that they could find, even in Saban's archives, did not have dialogue isolation, meaning they were able to pull the audio of just the conversation, the dialogue, away from the clip to then use it on something. So when that happens, especially on like a clip show like they're trying to do, especially those Disney seasons, and he kind of made reference that the rumor is that the Disney seasons are just gone. Whatever masters they had, they just burned in a fire, they're gone, whatever. So they don't have high quality like masters of the Disney stuff. But a lot of it, if you're going to do a clip show, that music is so loud, especially that heavy orchestrated music, you can't. Yeah, you could technically, if you really wanted to, you could get a software and spend hours and hours and hours trying to isolate it. They're not going to pay somebody to do that for Power Rangers. They're not going to. It's cheaper to get one of the guys in the next room over doing costume to come in and say 3 lines on a dialogue machine for ADR. So that's basically what happened. It's not that they're trying to, make anyone angry, so to speak. It's just technologically. Rumor has it that someone does have the masters, especially like the Saban Entertainment years, where the audio isolation, the dialogue isolation is there. They just don't know where it's at.
Well, I hope they find that soon. Now, before this episode, though, the Big Clip Show, we were treated to another special guest, Dr. K. Eric Berry, was that a surprise to you? And were you excited to see Dr. K return to the Power Ranger universe?
Well, it wasn't a surprise to me because you guys reported it. So, but no, like seeing it actually happen and Olivia Tennant's back, it was just a great moment. I loved RPM to see her come back and give advice to Devin and reference some of the past seasons herself. I thought it was a fantastic moment.
And even I think one of the bigger episodes too, and we'll talk about this later, but one of the best episodes of this little bunch was the Dino Charge Rangers coming into the Beast Morphers world. Let's talk about that, Leo and Ryan. What'd you guys think about the Dino Charge team coming back?
Should I go first or should you go first, Ryan?
I'll let you go first, Leo.
All right, cool. All right. I'm going to put it like this. I coming from someone who, I've seen a lot of the crossovers from Neo Saban, and they're okay, but I know they could have done better and stuff like that. This one, by far, even part 1, that is how you do a crossover. That's how you reintroduce people who watch Dino Charge or who are maybe new to Power Rangers and don't know too much about Dino Charge. That's how you do an introduction. I like it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that they talked about oh yeah, we're from a different dimension where dinosaurs come in and stuff like that. Overall, it was spectacular, and just the one shot with Devin and Tyler. Coming from someone who's Black and Latino, that warmed my heart. That really warmed my heart. Thank you, Hasbro.
Ryan, what did you think, my friend?
Yeah, I agree with Leo. This is the perfect way to introduce or set up a team up, because I like Dimensions and Dangers. Don't get me wrong, but the thing is, I lacked a follow-up episode to it. I agree. Also, what's funny is the episode prior to that, it felt like something out of Shattered Grid, because the connections and all the multiverse stuff. So that felt like something like Shattered Grid. Also, I noticed some Hasbro are actually putting more in depth now of these episodes, actually more catering to the fans, what their wants, because I noticed some episodes in the past crossovers, they would once they basically don't care about the fans, oh, okay, so we'll just care about the toys. But this one, I felt like they put some love into it. This is what I felt. And plus, again, Tyler and Devin together, come on, I actually like that part. So
now I want to start really giving, by the way, before we continue on, I just want to let everybody in the chat know, listen, we are all Ranger fans here, but we are also going to nitpick, because that's kind of what we're going to do, but we're also going to praise a lot of the things that we did like. So you're going to get a gamut of spectrums of everything that we felt about this episode. But Eric, why don't you start us off?
Sure.
What were some of the highlights? Because I mean, let's start on the high note. What were some of the highlights that you saw from the big team up?
Well, like Ryan mentioned and Leo mentioned, just the Dino Charge team up before was fantastic. So to see them come back in this like third or fourth part or whatever, that was a real highlight. Anything like Keeper, Dino Charge, Sledge, Poisandra, I really enjoyed those seasons. That was actually the first season my wife and I watched together when we were first dating. So we love those characters. They're great characters. So everything with like Dino Charge in it, that was fantastic. Obviously, like the morphing grid, all that lore that they build into this. Someone pointed out online, just like one of the comic pages from the Shattered Grid finale, when Tommy's kind of like floating in that green energy, seeing all the events. And they kind of applied that similar effect to Devin stepping into the morphing grid. So even like through all the different media, like comics and the show, it's all coming together. And little details like that I appreciate. Like I thought that was a highlight. Obviously, to see Jason, the character of Jason, return, that's huge. That's been teased for like a year and a half. So it was really good to see that happen. And then just the entire fight, everyone running up, doing the morph. It's nostalgic, and I got goosebumps. It was like, man, that's a type of like high energy that you want. And, replacement voices aside, all of that, just seeing that team up finally happen that we've been anticipating and wanting for years is pretty huge.
Airlim, with the good, there always comes a little bit of bad. So I know some things may not have been as smooth with that final crossover. What was one of the letdowns for you? Just get it out in the air.
I think it was the way I think Jason was kind of utilized. There's loads of stuff that they could have. It was like how he appeared. Like all of a sudden, you've got the Mighty Morphing team, you've got the Dino Thunder team all ready to go, and it felt like you only had a few seconds that Jason wouldn't have been able to contact, not unless the grid was actually going like, oh, we'll pull them like across. I think that if they had one more episode, you could have got like kind of built up like more kind of development. You could have had Blaze and Roxy, actually the human versions, go and find and say, hey, we're going to go get the other teams. Even if they turned up at like the Juice Bar or at Reefside High and was like, hey, we need your help. And they're like, yeah, cool, no problem. Even if you didn't see them, you could just see the backs of their heads, or, just oh, you're now the principal, Connor. Let's talk about that. And then at the very end, you could have had say Jason go, are you guys ready? And then go to be continued, and then led into it. I just kind of also think that the footage at halfway was just way too short. It was just like, if you blinked, you missed it. And I didn't like that. But the first part was great. The fact that you had Goldar saying, I'm more powerful, I can beat you all. And he does. He literally just absolutely annihilates all the Rangers really quickly. But then it's just like, that was, I think, one of the major letdowns. But the lead up was great. But yeah.
RangerLiz, can I get your opinion on Goldar Maximus?
I want to hug him. I love the way he's like, I'm Goldar Maximus, like this Spartan, and I'm like, all right, and he just annihilated everyone. You know me, I absolutely love when the Rangers get the crap beat out of them. When they're down and they're 3 sheets to the wind and you're just like, they're not going to make it. That's when I love it, because that's when, the stakes are high and everything goes up. But I think it was a fun way to return an old villain, to make it seem like the stakes were higher. He was obviously stronger, and it's how they used the suit. We kept like, how are they going to use that suit? How are they going to use that suit? And perfectly worked with the revitalizer. And I thought he was a fun villain. It was a nice way to bring Jason back, to make some nice comments at Goldar.
Toku Kid, you're a big fan of the Super Sentai, and I know that you watched the original Team Up movie. Obviously, we didn't have as much time as they did in the Super Sentai movie, but can you talk to me about how much they actually did use from the story beats or even the footage from the original Sentai movie and applied it to the Grid Connection?
That's going back a bit because I haven't seen the movie for a couple years.
But
as far as
they
I can remember,
they did cut out the entire Jason versus Goldar fight.
Oh.
Yes, they did.
I mean, if you're bringing Jason back, at least show us the fight.
Yeah, I agree. Like, this is the one thing that I thought about. I agree with you, Eric. Like, when I first saw the episode, I think it was a little bit of the nostalgia factor, but also the fact that it's been such a long time we've heard about this and we finally get to see it. And I liked it. I really liked it when I first saw it. But then upon second watch, I realized, wow, when they did Dimensions in Danger, I felt like Tommy got a moment. He had a big moment, a big fight scene where he got to morph into his different forms and fight himself. Jason doesn't necessarily get a moment in this episode, like, at all.
No.
Hey, Joe, no time for introductions, okay? Let's just keep talking about the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. But yeah, there was that moment too, but he didn't get a moment at all, really. Tokuchris, I have another question for you. You're on the toy beat with a lot of the Power Ranger stuff. What box sets can we expect in Lightning Collection form from this episode?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. We're not quite sure. What is it? Wave 6 is the one that is that's coming out after the Ranger Slayer and Gold Ranger and Billy. That's the one where it's SPC Vulcan, which was Goldar at GameStop. So, I mean, I'm curious if that's going to be a repaint or a missing the wings Goldar or
Goldar
if it's a Goldar Maximus.
Yeah.
Because they do like to sneak their toys into their media and vice versa. Hence, you got an emphasis on the Psycho Red Ranger and the Team Up 3-parter or whatever in the clip show. And which, fighting Lost Galaxy Red. So they like to sneak toys in. God, what other figure could you get? I honestly don't know. It'd be nice to get a Snide.
Yeah.
Out of that somehow.
With different heads, right?
The clip show, the
Different
clip show,
hair.
the villains of the past.
Yeah,
Dino Grid
All
battle.
the villains of the past all had Lightning Collection figures. I'm just saying, Astronema with an accessory pack with at least 3 of her wigs.
I'm gonna fight you for. I'm gonna fight for Korag. I'll fight for
Yeah.
Korag.
I would go with Trakina first. I think Trakina needs it first.
I'd take Korag. That's a
Korag's
beautiful
dope.
suit.
Or what they call him, Korug.
Karug.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Karug. Corey, I know that you're a big MMPR fan and Jason is your favorite Red Ranger. Was he utilized to your level of your liking? Was this Corey approved in your opinion?
I didn't even notice because, as you was mentioning, it was like, nostalgia. And then I see my boy back looking, all weathered and aged up. And
That's what happens with 25 years, man. It's called
yeah,
age.
look at
dude.
me. I don't look like an 11-year-old no more. But yeah, like thinking back, it's just like, my boy didn't do nothing. He didn't morph. He didn't strike his pose. I mean, he did, but it was the quick one that I don't like. You gotta go through the motions. You gotta do all of that.
Airlim, were you a fan of Keeper's appearance in the beginning? I can barely even say that. Keeper's appearance in the beginning of this episode. Why?
It was just really weird that he just like wandered up, and it's just like, I don't know. He was weird. He just wandered up.
He's always weird.
He's like a cat. He's just showed up.
Keeper.
In Dino Charge, he kind of said like, "Oh, hi, I'm Keeper," but he was just like kind of digging around for free stuff from the ship blown up. He was just like, "Which ones can I keep?" And then Zoe just turns around and just throws a collar at him. It's just like, you think that they would learn the lesson from like the previous thing when they met Gavin and was just like, "Oh, don't shoot. Oops, our fingers slipped." And it's just Zoe just goes, "Ugh." I was just like, "Oh, really? Really? Why?" She could have said, "Who are you?" And he could have turned around and gone, "I'm Keeper." and that's it. And just throw a collar at him like he's a Pokemon. Just boom.
Felt like his eyes, like the animatronics on his eyes weren't working right. Like I feel like he was cross-eyed for half that episode. I'm just saying.
Like, man, his eyes are.
Those are all CG. His eyes are CG.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So they made him wonky on purpose.
No wonder he looked like a freaking extra from Five Nights at Freddy's game. Okay.
Did it overall, off of your first initial viewing, what was each one of your kind of like reactions just on the first viewing alone?
I was like, that was neat.
I really liked it.
It was so fast. It was so fast.
It was
so fast. Like if they just did a whole episode of just the fight in the valley, I would have been cool with it because it would have been really awesome. But yeah, it was so fast.
Like get to the morph, get to the morph, get to the morph, get to the morph. Cool.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. A big Power Ranger trope is obviously the roll call. We don't really get that here. Did you guys find that lacking?
Yes.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing that gets you hyped, and then it just kind of just.
You don't even know who the Dino Thunder Rangers are because they never refer to them as the Dino Thunder Power Rangers.
That's true.
They didn't.
And we really
Jason's
don't know,
army, and that's it.
We really don't know which MMPR people are in the suits, so
You have to really listen to hear whose voice they're using.
Yeah.
Or trying to use it. They didn't even try, but it's fine.
Was Connor voiced by Kelson?
I don't know.
I thought he was voiced by the same guy who did the Andros in the clip, the Canadian guy.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's
What's this all about?
Although, like, I did like the moment for the unmorphed Rangers. I like the Dino Charge. They got their Instamorph. I actually really dug the Instamorph effect for Jason.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was really clean. Just the the energy pushing forward, and I really like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Flip was nice too. That was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Jezzer, why don't you hit us up with some of the things in the chat?
Let's see. Jared Hodges says Keeper was moving around like a turtle. A lot of people. Flash says the whole thing was too fast. Logan Thoth said that Keeper is the Power Rangers version of Yoda. Thea Game says the VAs for the suited Rangers actually sounded like a couple of them, but I am sad that they didn't credit the suited Rangers and the Dino team up. Yeah, I kept like after every episode when they had like old Rangers, I kept trying to look for the credits, but with the video, it will be like boop. I was like, no, don't do that. And I just wanted to just read some names, but like we were talking about in our previous episodes, I was really confused, or not confused, but questioning if they actually reached out to Camille, because her voice was like on point, and I don't know if they were like just picking and choosing audio from Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge, but it was really close, so they might.
Yeah, if it's not her, it's really, really
It
close.
was really close.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was told from somebody that it wasn't her, but it was Michael Tabor that came back. But I think that they may have reversed that. Maybe it wasn't Michael that came back and it was actually her as the voice. I honestly don't know.
Cause Michael would have because I was just thinking about like color wise, like green Dino Charge, he didn't really have any lines. I think there was only like one, but Pink had a handful and she sounded just like her.
Yeah.
But same with when you're talking about the colors of the MMPR, I was specifically listening for the Yellow Ranger because I was kind of wanting to know. I don't think the Yellow Ranger had any lines. I think it was a silent costume. So I guess maybe that's like a tribute. I mean, maybe
think
just
there's
like
a
we
little
didn't
grunt or something.
Yeah, but even when the suit, like she was fighting, it was silent. There was no call. There was kind of nothing. And
during the roll call, it kind of sounded like the voice actress who tried to dub Trini back when Twee left the show. Kind of sounded like that one to me. I don't know.
I'll have to go back in and actually really like listen for the voice actors for them.
What do you guys think that we're gonna get? You know how with the past crossovers we got little extended versions. Do you think we're gonna get an extended version of this crossover?
I heard that there's not an extended version for this episode.
Oh man, bummer.
So
Instagram videos.
Yeah, you're gonna get two versions. You're gonna get the one that my homie Sentai 5 has done and has put a lot of hard work into. Shouts to Sentai 5 if he's watching. Number one. Number two, and I'm really hoping if Hasbro decides, like towards the end of the year, when this show is all over and they're going into Dino Fury, Dragon Knight, where the heck they're still calling it right now, they are making a special edition version of it where it will have archived footage of it, or they taught to Sentai 5. I don't know, but I honestly do think they need a special edition.
The Chiplin cut.
Yes, a triple the producer's cut. The producer's cut. Like Halloween 6, the producer's cut. Let's go.
Great.
They just cut more out. That's
it's essentially they would just cut more out.
It's just more Sentai footage and less New Zealand footage.
It did feel though this chunk of 5 or 4 episodes, however much it was, it does almost feel like this is Chip Lynn's big hurrah for being on the show for such a extraordinary amount of time. Do you think though that with Chip Lynn and a new regime coming in, that that Dino Fury can be as good as what it can be? Tokuchris says no automatic. That's so. Why do you think so? We've talked about this a lot in the past, Tokuchris. Why do you think that you don't think Dino Fury can live up to any kind of expectation set on it?
Well, you just have to look at the past, right? So you had your big blockbuster movie in 2017, right? And what did we get? We got Ninja Steel, then Super Ninja Steel. And Beast Morphers hasn't been bad, but let's be realistic and be fair and call it pretty much forgettable until this, stuff in the UK started airing. It's been a pretty forgettable, for the most part, season. Nothing's really stood out to me as a super fan until you got to these episodes here. That being said, I mean, what's your expectations, I guess, is the better way to put it. Like, are you expecting something super high continuity in universe with, a past ranger coming back to be a mentor? If those are your expectations, yeah, you're probably going to be disappointed. If your expectation is literally the same thing you get every year, which is your 5 main colors, 2 comedy duo characters, the 6th ranger revealed somewhere around episode 7, then you'll be fine. There you go.
RangerLiz, I sneezed and the Zord battle was over. So can you walk me through if it was epic or not?
I appreciate the fact when Jason was like, I thought Serpentera was bad. That thing has 6 heads.
And it was 7, but
whatever. You. It was really fast. It did. It went so fast, and I missed that. I just felt like, and I can't remember back with the Sentai footage again. It's been a while since I've watched like the Megazord part of it, but I was kind of left like Mighty Morphin didn't get like the with it, and I just kind of felt like, and I didn't even know if the footage was there, but it was running so late. I was like, are they not gonna do the Zords? They did. It was very, very fast, and it was an epic. We all came together and destroyed it, and the Beast Morphers helped in the end. But it was really fast, and I wish we kind of would have gotten to see some of those old, ones a little bit more in action in the new CGI. Especially that Dino Thunder one, right?
Yeah.
See, it was some pretty graphics.
So in the course of this team up, we had. Prior to this, we had the RPM or the Dr. K return. We had 2 episodes of Space Sheriff Gavin. We had the clip show, and we had this. We had 5 episodes altogether. Would it have been beneficial to maybe condense the Space Sheriff Gavin thing into 1 episode and then possibly do this as a 2-parter?
It's like I was saying before. Like, I think the whole point of using Gavin was like, why? When you could have had 2 episodes leading up to the crossover, because you introduced this new character and he has no relevance to Power Rangers at all,
In fairness, though, I thought that was a good
episode. He was cool, but he was like Space RoboCop, but still.
He had that moment where like, oh, is there anything I can do for you? And then there's like this weird pause, like he was gonna give them something, or like something was gonna go on. And he just left. I was like, all right, that was a weird use of a minute for the episode, but okay, cool. But so yeah, I felt like they had something planned for him, but maybe some restrictions or something happened that they couldn't go forward with it.
Now, before we get back into the episode, there's somebody else that wanted to join us but couldn't be here, and he sent a special message for everybody. Jezra, can you hit that message?
Yep.
Hey everyone, this is Chris. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Sorry I wasn't able to join the live stream now because unfortunately with the time difference, the live stream would have been at the same time as Father's Day here in the Philippines. Me and my wife will be spending time with our parents today, so yeah. Just wanted to say that it's such an honor to be part of this awesome community, and I'm glad I get to share my passion and my love for this fandom through my YouTube channel. More power to all of you guys, and hope to see you soon when international.
Tokuchris, I know that you had something to say about a previous team up or something. Go for it.
So, regarding the Dino team up, I was just telling everybody off camera for a second. My one issue, the one thing for me that was like, oh, and it's the writers, and it's how you can tell that there's a disconnect. There's one line spoken by Jason's character in this entire team up that had me cringe. And it's when they're forming their ultra super mega blaster. Instead of saying, let's bring them together, he says instead, in regards to Goldar Maximus, destroy him.
Yeah. I thought that was weird.
I have watched Power Rangers all my life, and that is not what the Red Ranger ever says.
There's some built-up animosity towards Goldar that he's been holding back for 25 years.
Seriously, but it's like, come on, like that's the perfect line for Rangers, bring them together, right? That's a classic Jason line, and to go with the, all right, destroy him, like Zordon's like having a coronary in the afterlife right now, like.
But the thing is, they only had like 2 seconds to fill, and the "let's bring them together" would have been 3, and then that would have been a bad cut.
A lot of his lines are really cringy. Like when at the very end, when he's like, "Oh yeah, for years and years on, we're gonna have teams like you," and you're just like, "Oh God, who wrote this?"
He overacted a lot of it, and I don't mean that as a knock on Asa St. John by any means, but that his direction, man, he overacted so many of those lines. Like, that's not an army. This is an army. I'm like, no.
I mean, I appreciate it, but at the same time, I get what you mean. Especially the last thing he said. I mean, I really like what he said, but I agree with you, Tokuchris. I rewatched it earlier this morning. I get what you mean, though.
I guess the Dino Thunder Rangers weren't worthy of that speech.
It's very. I don't know. Like it was great having him back. It was great. A lot of the dialogues are great, but man, the destroy them line and then Jason's just like over angsty. Like delivery was just.
He felt like the Iron Chef. When they announced the new ingredient for the Iron Chef, it's like, and your secret ingredient is sweet potatoes.
An army.
Oh,
did Chase even have any lines in that team up episode? I felt like they brought him back just to be like a glorified extra.
All he did was get on the boat. I mean,
it's
probably like a 20-minute boat ride over from New Zealand.
He's
in New Zealand. So.
Yeah, there's one thing that I was laughing at when I was watching the episode is when they're going back into the portal. When Jason jumps back into the portal, he barely gets any air, and it's just like, oh, what the? I was like, oh no. If you watch
back the fall.
Oh my God! Austin's gonna like find this video. I was like, "Hey, I heard what you said on the stream." I was like,
do you think though that it lived up to your guys' hype though, or lived up to the hype that maybe everybody put on it?
No, I don't think it did.
What I expected.
You expect nothing, and then you're happy if you get something. You expect nothing, you're happy.
I would say this because I was very critical with Dimensions in Danger when we Morphin Network we had reviewed it, and Ryan's gonna try to smite me later when I say it. I honestly think Dimensions in Danger it would have been better as a 2-part episode and stuff like that, but I'll go into that later on. This one I wasn't expecting much, but after like my first run through and then my second run through, I'm like, you know what? for what they did, for what they had, and despite the dubbing, despite some of the things they could have done better with the final arc of the episode, I really liked it. I really liked the crossover, and I honestly hope that if they do another crossover, if they don't pull a Crisis on Infinite Earths for Dino Fury's story, I would like for them to do something. But I think if we got writers who have done crossovers in the past to come in to advise them and stuff, I think the next one could be better. This one though, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I've seen it twice, so that's how much I've enjoyed it.
Well, Tokuchris, I think you make a fantastic point kind of about just the small attention to detail. I think that they hit a lot of things leading up to it really well, though. They have, like, honestly, even in previous episodes, they mentioned the Pan Global Games, and I was like, dude, what a cool little callback to something that happened in the past. And I think they do excellent with things, but you're right. That falls through the cracks when without Jason saying let's bring it together. I agree with you. That's such a Jason thing to do. You know what I mean? That just falls through the cracks.
One of the issues I had with the episode, and it's nothing to do with the episode itself, right? It's with the constraints that you have using the Sentai footage, is the hype and the buildup had us thinking like, all right, Jason's back. It's going to be Jason. This is going to be Jason's coming back. But if you watch the Sentai movie, it's not about Tyranno Ranger, and it's not about Aber Red. It's about the Kyorugers, right? Mm-hmm. So if you watch this, the team up, there's a lot of emphasis, and Dino Charge kind of takes the lead. So they're taking the lead in the footage, but the show here is trying to kind of put it on Jason, so it kind of just a little bit kind of falls apart a little bit because Jason's trying to lead the team, but the source footage is supposed to be the Kyorugers leading the charge. So you get Dino Charge leading the charge. I'm saying charge way too much. It's driving me nuts.
Take a shot every time he says charge.
Seriously, but yeah. So I mean, that's the only like technical part that I saw that had me going like, that sucks because they want Jason to be the leader and leading the group, but they can't because it's the source footage, which is Dino Charge leading the call. So yeah, that was it. Sorry.
That's why I thought it was so hilarious when Tyler's like, "We've got no time for introductions. Who cares about you, Boomer?" Like,
okay, Boomer.
Okay, Boomer. I love that.
Someone make a meme of that right now and tag them.
That's hilarious. It did feel that way, though. I mean, I saw that sense of urgency, but it did have that sense of like, okay, Boomer, move over. That's so funny. Here's another thing too. Even in this episode, the one thing that Beast Morphers hasn't done well is really give Ravi anything. I feel like I know nothing about him at all, and I even feel like, look at this guy. What's this?
Hey,
guy
no
doing?
time for introductions.
Boomer.
Agreed.
Here's another thing too.
Oh.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Just talking about.
No time for introductions. I get it.
Just talking about the season of this season of Power Rangers. Have you been following along?
I'm like on episode 12 of Beast Morphers or something like that of season 1. So, no, 18. But I saw episode 12 as well, I think. So, I don't know. I'm all over the place.
All over the place. Yeah. Well, we were talking about an episode that hasn't quite aired yet, Brennan, and maybe just maybe there's a character. There's somebody that looks like you in it. Can you believe that?
Is it Danny from Geeks of East LA or something?
It is Danny from the Geeks of East LA.
Nice.
In
Right
a
on.
episode of Power Rangers.
Awesome. Good job. Good show. Good episode.
Real question, Brennan. Obviously, you were on Power Rangers Dino Charge. On your season, you didn't get much of a team up. Now, did you? There was no team ups on your season, right?
I feel like having 10 Rangers in your season is like already a team up. So.
Was there ever any talks about doing team up stuff when you were there in the past?
Honestly, when talking with the producers, they were more like, because there's so many of you, and plus we want to make it, because they've had team ups so often, Chip wanted to have a season where it's just that cast. I don't know if that was footage wise or that's just what he told us or how it worked. But again, like with 10 Rangers already, it's like, because they didn't adapt Tokuchris, so I don't know who else Kyoryuger teamed up with when we were there at the time to have teamed up with, unless they made original footage.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good question. I wouldn't know that answer either.
Fair.
Wasn't the Gokaijas that they teamed up with in the Sentai?
Yeah, that's well, Gokaiger. Which one is that? Megaforce? I don't know. All the
Super
Sentai.
Megaforce. That one.
Kyoryuger teamed up with them.
I'm sure that they did.
Really?
Am I complete? Was it about the key, like the Phantom keys or something? Or my thing? No, that was
That's
Go
Busters.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
sure
they teamed up with Go Busters because I saw the Sentai team up of that.
Hey, Brennan. So obviously, I mean, look, it's no secret you're in this big giant team up episode, mainly because the trailer's aired. I'm not getting
Well,
you.
maybe it's like a little secret.
Trailers aired. With the experience, how quick did you guys do ADR after you guys shot, or was that way after the fact?
Way after. We were back in the States when we did ADR.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed.
So it's easy to get
yeah.
ADR back to New Zealand then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where you guys. You could be in New Zealand right now for all I know, and we're talking live. So.
Any of you guys got questions for Brennan?
That he can potentially answer.
He can potentially answer.
Oh, quick one. Did you manage to sneak any? I mean, if not legally, if one were to have maybe taken a small memento from it, such as a charger or whatnot, would there have been anything that maybe you would have taken back with you after such an amazing team up?
Well, I mean, when we shot Dino Charge originally, we were actually given the choice to take 10 items from our character's wardrobe. So
really?
So I took my vest, I took the jeans I wore, I took Tyler's bracelet. We were given our energems. So I didn't feel the need to take something on the down low, really.
Hey,
there are things I would have taken.
You took the vest. Did they ask you to bring the vest back when you came back to New Zealand?
So, fun fact, I think I can say this because, anyhow, whatever. I mean, I understand NDAs, but at the same time, it's literally online. I've been tagged in a million posts on Instagram about the team up, but this never even happened, so I can share this. But I was initially asked to bring my own suit because I own my own custom Dino Charge suit. So I actually brought it to New Zealand, but I never wore my own suit. So I don't know if they weren't sure or if they didn't know. I don't even know why they asked me to bring it, but they did. So I brought my suit and never wore it, and then I brought it back home.
Did they even use it at all? Or did
No.
you?
No, I don't know if it was maybe we'll have him in a suit, or maybe if the stunt people are busy. I don't know.
But made you have to carry it on the plane and then make sure that nothing happened. It's I could have just walked through a plane with a backpack and then just left. That's
I mean, they paid for the extra airfare luggage, but it was a pain to drag around.
Hey, in your actual opinion, do you think that there's going, because these previous team ups, whether it be Legendary Battle or Dimensions in Danger, they had extended episodes. In your opinion, do you think that there's enough footage left on the cutting room floor that there can be an extended episode?
Of this team up?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I
don't know. I mean, that's implying that I would have seen it already.
Good point.
But just knowing what I experienced while I was there, I feel like there could be potentially something along the lines to answer that question randomly, maybe, perhaps. Hypothetically speaking.
Seeing as the next season is also a dino
Isn't
season.
this cute?
Yeah.
Dino theme. Yeah.
A dino theme season. Would you be open to going back to New Zealand for a third time?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I almost went back for the Ninja Steel anniversary episode team up thing. That was actually supposed to be all of Dino Charge at one point, and then slowly they're actually, we're only going to take between you guys, and it was between me and Yoshi. And then I actually emailed Chip, and I was like, his brother's in Ninja Steel. Just take him. It's fine.
I didn't know it was supposed to be your whole team.
Yeah, initially we were all asked when we went to Morphicon after we finished airing, when we announced the new cast. Chip asked all of us if we wanted to come back, and we're all like, yeah, that'd be great. But then I don't know if it was budget or things changed, but it was my understanding there was going to be a Ninja Steel Dino Charge team up and then a Ninja Steel anniversary episode with 1 or 2 Dino Charge Rangers. Obviously, there was no Dino Charge Ninja Steel standalone episode, but then they ended up just doing what they did.
Awesome. Jezzer, hit us with some things in the chat.
Okay, Seth Film says, what would Tyler's political view on the using the morphing grid as an energy source for our own personal needs?
Well, I'm not super caught up to speed with the Boom Studios comics with everything. I know like there's some crazy stuff that's going on with like Special Rangers that can be like all the colors or something, like the Guardians of the Grid or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's infinitely renewable, I think it's better than what we use for now as energy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's the downside that bad guys can jack it and use it to make monsters. So if we can get our security better, I don't think it's an issue.
Now, I know you can't talk about the episode, but you can talk about your experience of meeting everybody, right?
I have no idea. It's so vague, man. Like, I signed that NDA a year ago. I don't even remember what it says.
Well, I mean, Airlim technically has seen it. He's in the UK. Like, he has seen it because Hasbro has shown it to him.
Well, maybe if he tells me about it, I can infer knowledge. Because, like, there was no NDA saying you're not allowed to have someone else explain things from the episode because they already saw it.
Well, you come through a portal. You come and find Keeper, who just literally stands everywhere and watches everyone do everything.
Nice.
Then he says, "Oh, I'm gonna go off somewhere," and you're like, "Bye," and then you just disappear for at least one episode, and then come back. And
how much
you
time
ask
do you
about-
think passed between that episode?
I'm gonna probably guess maybe an hour.
Oh,
Wow,
man.
that's fast. So it wasn't like a week or two. It was just like an hour and things got real.
I think I give it 12 hours.
Give it like 2 days.
Okay.
Brendan's whole world, Tyler's whole world was crumbling apart, and it's like an hour. And he's like, we need the help, guys.
12 hours later. We're gonna hurry up.
That's great. I want to know if you got to interact on set with, because one thing I wanted to see was a big Red Ranger. You know what? You can't talk about that. I'm not gonna ask.
He's trying to formulate questions and still.
Never mind. I was trying to formulate a question and I realized you can't answer that.
I mean, I could nod at the question and be like, "That's a great question."
Well, I mean, I wanted to know if there was a scene specifically with all of you Red Rangers together doing a thing maybe together.
That is a great question.
Thank you. I thought it could.
You're welcome.
Jezzer, back to the chat, my friend.
Back to the chat. Flash says, "Wait, let's think about this. Is the crossover thanks to Hasbro, or is Saban people who went all through because it was just the last season to work on?" So I guess he's asking who was in charge of this.
Responsible for it.
Yeah.
First, I have to say that I'm an idiot because when you were talking, I couldn't hear you. I leaned closer to the camera like that. And then, 2, I could be wrong because it's not like they sent us a letter going, "This is Hasbro who did it."
Yeah.
I think it was Hasbro because I do know when Yoshi and I were on Dino Charge, we begged for the Go Buster team up to happen on Dino Charge because it was already out at that point. Like we saw it and we didn't know what was going to be adapted for Beast Morphers or let alone Ninja Steel at the time. So we were told something along the lines that I think like Saban only had the rights to the Sentai TV footage, like the episodic versus the movies. And I don't know if Hasbro paid extra for the rights to the movies or how that happened. But that's why we didn't have the Go Buster team up with us, or at least that's what I was told, unless it was just budget and they didn't want to. I don't know.
Well, I was assuming that they were probably trying to also buy the rights to the your Dino Charge movie as well, because I think I felt like that's what they were trying to set up with Snide and his character. We definitely got the reveal in the comics, but I feel like maybe they were trying to work out some movie deals that they could adapt to bring to television.
Well, I believe that was also the reason why they didn't make Heckle the Dark Ranger in the Dino Charge, because his suit was in the movie, not in Kyoryuger itself. So we couldn't have the suits, I think was the reason.
Would have been awesome.
It would have been, but coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Are you prepared to now every single panel you ever go on to start saying no time for introductions?
I don't know what you're referencing. That's a good question.
We got any more questions, Jezzer?
Let's see. Donnie Pearson. Speaking of the United Kingdom, I heard an episode of Dino Supercharge was set somewhere there. Airlim, was that true?
An episode of Dino Supercharge in the UK?
Yeah, I don't think so, because I think all of it was shot in New Zealand.
Yeah, I mean,
it's about the finale. Remember, you guys had your Megazords go to different cities to protect all the parts of the world?
They went to different parts, and then there was an episode where we visited New Zealand.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's so long ago. Oh, it looks so different, everybody.
I know.
Eric, Barry, I have a question for you. Now that obviously I know you're a big SPD fan, and I'm gonna switch gears here a little bit.
Are you gonna shift into gear?
Shift into gear. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm shifting into turbo.
There you go.
What I wanted to ask you though is that and this is really for anybody, but Jezzer and I talked about this yesterday. If you can see a sequel series to any one of the previous series to be, coming on, like if there was a sequel series coming out instead of a regular season, what series would you have chosen? I think I know what you're gonna say.
I mean, yeah, I'd love an SPD sequel. That'd be great. Like what they did with the Boom comics to bring it more into the future, and Sky's the new Red Ranger, the leader. I think that'd be pretty sweet, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But they have all this footage with Deca Ranger 10 years after, and with Gavin, who is now Chaku. So that would be something cool if they could adapt that somehow have a SPD team reunion special.
Corey, what's your and if you say Mighty Morphin, you're out of this chat right now.
I can easily kick him out right now.
Morphin already had a sequel series. It's called Zeo.
Oh.
Good point.
I'm not going to go there.
Good point.
Brennan.
Think. I don't know. I mean, not because Dino Charge is like my season, but literally Dino Fury has our color scheme for a lot of them. And I just feel like if they were to do it, they could do it.
You could go audition. Just see what they say.
We're not allowed to audition for extra seasons.
Why don't you put a little mustache on or something?
Yeah, mustache would work fine.
It's true. I could.
Hey, Brennan, did you audition for the 2017 movie?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I did audition for the movie, but not all of my cast was allowed to. I think it was because my manager was friends with the casting director. Because they didn't let Yoshi audition because they're like, you've already been a Ranger. So.
He's been a Ranger.
I know. I auditioned for Zach in the movie.
Hey, have you bought your ticket to New Zealand for next season already? Just showing up with your gear and being like, "Yeah, I'm ready."
No.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah. They only
Tyler.
No, here's what I would want to see, and I was talking to this with one of our friends from Morphin Network. Because and Sentai 5. Because of now that they've had so much to do with the Morphin Grid and everything like that, we've seen Dimensions in Danger. We see how the Morphin Grid's important with that. Once a Ranger, and now the Crit Connection episode. Why don't, if they're to do a movie, if Hasbro has enough money that they've made through the Transformers franchise and Bumblebee and G.I. Joe.
If they have enough money?
Probably. Who knows? It's Hasbro. They got enough money from the toys. Use that toy money. Make Duel Chrysler Infinite Earths with all the Dino Rangers, and that would be the setup to Dino Fury, where the events of the Chrysler Infinite Earths with the Dino Rangers affect and start up Dino Fury. It's a brand new thing.
So you're saying erase the previous Dino teams?
No.
Yes, erase the previous.
No, not erase them. Have it where, if you remember Chrysler Infinite Earths, they restart certain Earths. And Dino Fury is now Earth Prime, and this is where we start. This is where.
So the dinosaurs exist in other worlds, but not ours.
Yeah.
Wait, Leo. Did you actually watch Dino Charge, Leo? Yeah, right.
Yes,
yeah,
I know they flashpointed the ending.
Yeah, I mean.
I know they flashpoint paradox the ending. No, which was fine. I had no problem with it, but still, like, do a movie like that. Or
I'm gonna actually steal Jezzer's answer, and I'm gonna say that I want a Mystic Force prequel.
Yeah.
I know Ryan would like this. Ryan loves Harry Potter, so I think he'd be down for that.
Oh, speaking of prequels, I want to see the what happened, the 2017 movie, the whole battle of his team. I'm down to see that.
Brian,
Ranger,
I wanna.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to throw out there. I'm surprised no one said it yet because it's begging for a follow up. Would be RPM.
See, I would have said that, but that's too easy. That's
The final
really
scene,
too
the
easy.
final
Yeah.
scene, but no other series has a setup already ready, like waiting for it to be, gold mine, so to speak. That's set up with Venjix still being alive in the Morpher, and there you go.
But here's the question: what would your premise be if there was a sequel for RPM? What would the premise be outside Venjix coming back?
Well, that would be the premise. I mean, that's what they set it up for.
I got reworded. My bad.
You're gonna say, Brennan? I saw your hand up.
Yeah, Brennan,
go ahead, Brennan.
Is there a team up with Ryu Soldier and Kyoryuger?
Will there be one or no?
No, I don't think so. No.
No, you're thinking there was the what was it called, the great the special battle or whatever that Sentai did leading into.
Was it the Kamen Rider one?
No, this is the Ryu Soldier best of, where they had a bunch of Red Rangers together.
I remember.
It was they did a 4-part Super Sentai. It was a special thing where they were all in like teams of 5, but they were all hodgepodge. So we followed Team Weirdo, which was like Captain Marvelous and so they had that, and it was a 4-part series, and it was kind of cool. I mean, they could pull some footage from it to bring some other characters back, but it's not, unfortunately, Kyoryuger focused or anything.
All those legendary new powers.
Yeah, I didn't know if they adapted more dinos because I like to team up Kyoryuger
They
with
should.
a lot.
They should just adapt the Korean Dino Charge, right?
Dinosaurus Brave.
No, okay, no.
Was it good? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was good.
quick.
Actually, it was okay. It was like the 15 episodes. I forgot. It was okay.
I think it was like 10. It was really short. Like they got like a couple.
It was 10 minutes.
The suits look cool.
Yeah, the suits were cool.
Yeah.
I have an
Did you
idea.
get one of those, Brendan?
I just thought
Buy
about
it for me. Christmas is coming up.
All right, I got you.
I just thought about it. Time Force versus SPD. The premise is one specific. No, yeah, dude, you already know I was gonna say this. One specific season of the Power Rangers. I don't know. You can pick any one. Something's going on where it's affecting the future of SPD. SPD comes in, they help solve the problem, they leave. Time Force comes in, says SPD just effed up our future. Now we gotta fix what they did and create a time paradox. Kind of like the whole Cable Bishop thing from X-Men.
We're kind of getting that in the comic, the graphic novel coming out at the end of the year.
I was really hoping that we can get like an episode called like Cross Correction, where it's essentially that Brennan's team and the whole Dino Charge group, since they changed time and the dinosaurs didn't actually get killed by this meteor.
Spoiler.
Well, 3 years ago. Spoiler, right? But what happens is that since that was supposed to happen, it's gonna happen anyway. It's cross corrected, so a meteor's coming down. And your Rangers are like, yo, we need some help, Time Force. Can you like stop things? And they're pretty much like, we're gonna try everything we can do, but there's nothing we can do about it. Your Earth is everyone's gonna die. So it's really about you guys finding a new.
You're not supposed to exist.
Earth 3 is about to get freaking seismic toss. So you better get out of there. Go to Earth 2. Actually, no, because all the Power Rangers are dead over there. Go to Earth 1.
Ranger Legends of Tomorrow.
Well, wait, in RPM, like what's the year RPM takes place in?
Technically the same year as the current timeline of the original one.
So maybe 2009.
Earth 2009. Yeah.
It's still
Okay.
present.
And we're calling on Earth 2.
Like they
Yes.
Like they even show like the past Rangers died. Like the Overdrive Rangers helmet, they actually showed like cracked in one episode.
Is Dino Charge the only Ranger team on Earth 3?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
as far as we know.
Is RPM the only one on Earth 2?
Yes.
Only one left alive.
Well, surviving.
Yeah.
So RPM, I can't remember. They had all the other Rangers just in their storylines, like when you play Zelda and you win or lose against Ganondorf, like different timelines.
Yep.
So they lost against Ganondorf.
Yeah, so the Ocarina timed it.
I saw some theory that was like the Mighty
That's an
Morphin
amazing way to
Power
put it.
Rangers
Thanks.
movie was its own timeline.
MMPR, the movie, is
Yeah.
Earth 4. Power Rangers 2017 is Earth 5. The fan film is Earth 6.
You know, I'm gonna take a big guess, Leo, that says that you're a big fan of this Crisis storyline that you see.
Yeah, damn right I am. I made listen. I had made a fanfic of doing this, but it was such a cocaine-induced type of story that I'm like, I gotta drop this because I'm legit riding myself into a wall, and this is getting more and more insane.
I would just love to see your board of string theory.
I had it, and I showed it to Ryan.
It's intense.
I think okay, if Hasbro, from their toy money, if they don't have enough to make, what Leo wanted, why not just an animated series and then do it that way? Or an animated movie, and then we'll just voice ourselves.
We have all been pushing for like an animated version of Power Rangers. I would like it. The thing is, I as much as I love the comic books, I don't want it strictly like based off the comic books. I would like them to take things from the comic books and do something more original with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I always had this idea.
Go ahead.
Like, or if we did animated series, make an anthology. Every episode's either a prequel or down the line of what happened in the Rangers, and just bring back the actors to have like this little little piece of where are they now or what they could have been.
Yeah. Or just like extra adventures of what went on with them, or things the show didn't, like kind of how Avatar: Last Airbender had graphic novels to fill in the gaps.
Yes.
Just have an animated series fill in the gaps.
That would be great.
I still haven't seen it.
Or maybe even have M. Night
Ever
Shyamalan
seen
make a
it?
Power Rangers
Wait, you
movie.
never saw it, Joe?
I gotta
Wait,
start.
what did you not see?
You know the Last Airbender.
I've been getting a lot of pressure.
Wait, the cartoon or the movie? We don't talk about the movie.
No,
Did you see the
no,
cartoon?
forget. I haven't even. I auditioned for the movie, but no, we're talking about the cartoon.
Okay,
I
make
haven't
sure.
seen it.
Just make sure.
Yoshi kept trying to get me on it too. and
Yes.
at the time,
You
it
should be watching it.
Joe, bruh, it's on Netflix.
Yes, it's
You know,
literally
as soon
the
as you
best
finish
Avatar, you gotta watch
show
Korra.
ever made.
Look what you did here, Joe. Look what you
Ever.
did.
Like, I love Demon Slayer and other, like, Demon Slayer is really good too, but like Avatar: Last Airbender, storyline wise, character growth, everything is just amazing.
See, and if they could do that with a kid show on Nick, they could easily do that with a Power Ranger show. Because I mean, like we talk about a lot on the show is how pandering sometimes Power Rangers is to their audience, and like they don't think that their audience can understand complex storylines. I mean, they had Avatar on Nick, and it was like watching. I just started watching. I finished it recently. I was like, man, this is a solid story. I'm kicking myself in the head like that I slept on it back. I don't know, like 15 years ago.
Jezzer, this PlayStation 4 is not this controller is not a trophy, but thank you for addressing this.
I'll take that
because I've talked about this so much. When it comes to cartoons, when we grew up with, they ain't pander. They treat kids like the adults they were going to be. And I think the problem is we don't do that more. We don't do that much often. It's not just with some of the shows from Nickelodeon. It's a lot of the shows from Cartoon Network and Disney XD and all that stuff. I think we start treating kids like the adults they're going to be, because when they grow up, they're like, oh, I remember that episode of Power Rangers or whatever that honestly taught me this type of life skill. Like Time Force. Time Force talked about prejudice. Wild Force talked about save the economy, save the ecosystem because we're messing it up.
Yeah. And the economy. Right?
And the economy.
Honestly, if there's a season about saving the economy,
Lights You Rescue had subtle religious overtones and stuff like that. It was great. Like,
yeah,
let's bring that back.
Yeah, the thing about the Saban era is that from Mighty Morphin to Wild Force, like it felt like the show was growing with the audience, and it seemed like the stories got a little bit more mature.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney bought it up, and then that's when things started to change and be different.
Hey, Brennan, I have another question for you. So, when you obviously did Dino Charge and you came back for Beast Morphers, did everything feel the same to you when you came back? Was it like riding a bike, or did it feel like the show had changed? And the only reason I ask is because you were part of the Neo Saban era, and you were going back to the Hasbro, or you're going to the Hasbro era. Did anything feel different to you?
I mean, a lot of the people on set and the crew were still the same people, so it felt like coming back to a bike that you were very nostalgic about as a kid, and you're like, this is my bike, and it still works, and it has a new paint job and everything. So it was really cool. I mean, it's like just stepping in to like the past, but with future knowledge of what you sometimes would have done differently, and then like having a chance. And again, like being on it in Beast Morphers, I was the guest instead of, you know, like the cast that was, you know, actively in every episode. So just making sure we didn't overstep in a way that would make Beast Morpher cast feel like we're taking over. Because like, you know, like we see cast members that we've known kind of longer than them. And so, you know, you're talking and you don't want to like step on their toes. Like they're great people. So you want to make sure like we all have a good experience. Not like we're here, we're stealing the spotlight. It's our episode. So too bad. Like, you know.
Did you find that they changed your character a little bit? Because when watching Dino Charge, it felt like you were like your character was like really friendly and like, yeah, let's do this. But in Beast Morphers, it just seemed like it was more, we don't care about you guys. And then it's just like, it's all about us, bye. And then when you got what you wanted, you're like, oh, see you later type thing.
Well, I don't know what episodes you're referencing in that.
I'm from the future, so.
Okay. So you'd have to explain to me from something you've seen, and I can maybe infer about it.
Okay. So when you jump through a portal, you instantly go, oh, hey, do you know where our keeper is? And then they go, it's over there. But you kind of don't help other rangers. You just kind of fight what's in your way, and then you want to go for keeper, and that's it. And then at the very end of that episode, you're more like, oh, we're not going to stay. We've got our own things. We've done what we want. And then all your bad guys are still on the Earth Prime. So it just, I'm going to refer to it as.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, in this hypothetical situation, I feel like maybe, again, we don't know what's happening on Earth 3, we're calling Dino Charges, right? So maybe there's bad guys, they're still fighting too. I mean, they still obviously, I'm assuming, have energems from what you're talking about. So if they're still bonded, maybe they're doing other missions. So it's more like we're here because we need to accomplish this. It's not that we're not here on like a hangout time, you know, like we're here to get the business done and then go. Maybe in the future they could be more friendly with each other, but it's not that they're being mean, I think. Just going off of what you said, it's just like, you know, we just got to save our friend and we got to go back, and there's other stuff still going down.
I like watching Brennan like try to jump through hoops. He's like Tom. He's like Tom Holland at every like Marvel press conference. He's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great question, man.
Hey, Brennan, in your head canon, are Tyler and Shelby still a thing?
Yeah, are they still a thing?
Yeah, actually, I can't get into this part unless someone brought it up, like, because things.
There in the episodes, there's unfortunately no reference to it. It's more, yeah, right, that's it. There's no kind of interaction whatsoever.
Well, I feel like there's a memory floating around. Maybe I dreamt it. I don't know. But like when I was in New Zealand, I potentially did a scene saying my farewells where I put my arm around Shelby at the end to kind of infer that it's still a thing. But I don't know if that's in footage or not, but it may or may not have happened.
I don't remember it happening. Like everyone's in suits about like your characters, and then they're just kind of off to the side, and then it's just like, oh, see you later, jump through a portal, and then it just ends there.
Yeah, I think that was, I mean, it sounds like due to time constraints, some of the more emotional fleshed out part that would make them potentially not feel as like we got what we want by happened, but those beats may or may not have made it into the episode from what you're saying.
Hashtag release the Chip Lynn cut.
Release the chip.
Chip cut. Let's do it.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just guessing because like I haven't, you know, may or may not have, you know, this episode that you're talking about, like it hasn't aired in America yet. And so I can only...
It's not going to for like a whole nother year, it feels like.
Yeah, I know.
Not that long, but it's like 6 months though, or something like that.
I don't even know.
When does it come back?
I don't know.
It's September, I think.
Oh
it's
my
back.
god. Airlim, what's the future like? What's the future like, Airlim?
There's There's a lot of
Future.
things that I have like on my phone that I can, once it's out, I can post behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, he's got some
He's
great
great.
stuff.
Brennan, real quick, I wanted to ask you. I know that you were instrumental in some of the Beast Morpher cast auditions and stuff like that. At this point right now, I know we're going through Dino Fury, and I know we're still in the very early stages of that casting process. Have you at all been approached about not necessarily reprising your role, but about helping people audition for the next season?
I've been asked on, so not from the casting directors themselves so much. Like I'm always welcome, or at least I think I am, knock on wood, to come and like sit in on the auditions. But then COVID happened. So, because I had a lot of friends who went through a couple of the auditions in the beginning, and then COVID happened. So they were told, callbacks would be later. And someone told me like a week or two ago that callbacks are starting up again. So I don't know if they're going to be in person or if they're just going to have to do it online or how that's working at this point. But if they happen in person, I'm usually allowed to go in and like sit and watch the auditions if I feel like, and then they ask me my opinion.
When you're going through those auditions, depending on who they cast, does that dictate who the character becomes, or do they already have it kind of instilled of who the character is? For example, when you auditioned for Tyler, was that character already fleshed out, or is it really based upon some of your likes and dislikes and whatever it may be?
Sure. Good question. They, as the season progresses, they start writing more to who you are and how you flesh out the character. But there are specific archetypes that you audition for. Like when I auditioned for Dino Charge, I auditioned for Tyler, and for who else? Was it Chase? I auditioned for Chase, and I auditioned for Riley. So they were written that way already. Like Chase was already the cool, kind of suave ladies' man. Riley was a little more less sure of himself. I think the scene actually took place at a carnival, and Tyler was like supposed to be helping Riley have confidence to like win out of like a carnival game or something. And I actually did that in the chemistry read with Michael Tabor, who got, green. So I did it as Tyler and he did it as green. And so it was cool, like auditioning with the person who ended up getting it, because we read with other people who didn't get the roles. Like he read with a different Tyler, and I read with a different Michael, I think, at one point. So, but yeah, like they have personalities in mind, and then you just happen to hit them or not more so. And then as the story goes, your characters evolve.
Gotcha. Jezza, what we got in the chat, buddy?
Let's see. Abram the Realtor says, do they explain what would happen if the DC Dino Charge team stays too long in the Beast Morphers universe? I don't think they even like they didn't even, that wasn't even in consideration to further storyline. There's like, well, let's not talk about that.
Overall, I actually have a question for Eric and Liz. Overall, how have you guys been enjoying Beast Morphers as a whole? And do you think, this is a question that Jezza always asks, do you think Beast Morphers, without the big crossover and team up, is it still a good season on its own without that?
Eric, do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
There's a
You know me, I always just talk I'll talk out of my own. That's fine. Beast Morphers, even without the team up, look, I really enjoyed season 1. I thought it was a solid season, especially my personally Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel I wasn't as big of a fan of, so coming back and seeing Beast Morphers being that strong, even without the team up, if we didn't have any of it, I think if they would have continued the story as it was with Evox and not had to try to fit in, I think maybe we would have gotten more stuff, with Blaze and Roxy. Because, if they didn't have to take 5 episodes to do this, I don't know. The long and short of it is I really like Beast Morphers. And I've been enjoying Super Beast Morphers.
It's not super.
The mic, I'm done.
It's ingrained in you now.
I know.
Yeah, season 1 of Beast Morphers I thought was really great. Without the team up, before all this like 4 or 5 episode arc, I thought season 2 was taking a bit of a dip. It was following that formula that's kind of happened the past few seasons, and I would love to see more Blaze and Roxy, like actual Blaze and Roxy, like what are they doing? How are they integrating back into the team? So yeah, without the crossover, I don't know if I would have been as hyped for this season.
Great answer. Tokuchris and Airlim, questions for you two now. We obviously have a ton of Easter eggs thrown throughout the whole series. A ton of Easter eggs thrown throughout the whole series about the past. As a fan, I'm assuming that you guys like that stuff, but can you talk to me and chat me up about where you think they could have taken it to maybe to the next level on Beast Morphers?
Does Toko Kid want to take this one first, or?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Airlim.
Okay. I generally really want them to kind of show more of what's in the vault. Like the Easter eggs are fine for what they want to do, but it's more kind of like looking at it, not just have it like little things in the background that you can't see. But unfortunately, you guys will be getting the HD version. We get the SD version, which is really weird. But I would love to see more of the stuff. Like I generally thought after Ryjack turns around and goes like, "Oh, I've got all these weapons. I've got all this stuff. You know, I'm after this huge like range of weapons." You don't really see anything but a small chest full of like the Dino Charge main weapons. That's it. You know, it was nice seeing the like the cards, like the Psycho cards and everything all led up. But I would like to see more and more episodes. Like I think just because of the team up, starts with Dr. K. You know, I'd love to see more other things added in rather than just, oh, you got these few episodes and then we'll never ever kind of show it ever again. Like Nate says, like, oh, he uses a lot of stuff for his for the tech. I would have loved to see, like, maybe more, I don't say the Zeo cannon or something, just hanging in the background where like circuits coming out where he's actually looking at it, or kind of more information on like how he got to the morphing grid, because it just seems very kind of weird that he's gone, yeah, I know how to access it. Oh, how do you, Nate? I was 10. I figured it out. You're like, I kind of really want to know why. Like, what 10-year-old goes, oh, that looks like a morphing grid over there. Oh, it is. And then suddenly, like, Grid Battle Force starts to pull up and go, hey, kid, see they figured that one out. Want to come work for us? And he's gone, yeah, okay. And his parents have gone, yeah, just let him go on his own. It's that sort of thing where I want to see kind of more reference to. And yeah, that's how I just want to see more Easter eggs and more kind of little nods, like throwaway lines, like very simple, like, oh, Korak was a bad guy. Yeah, he was. And they just never talk about it ever again.
I think what Beast Morphers has done well, which I really appreciate, and I forget the actual term they use in cinema for it, but everything that they've introduced that's been an Easter egg for the most part has had payoff, whether immediately or at least later on down the road in the series.
Foreshadowing?
Not foreshadowing. It's an actual like cinema term. I forget what it is. Or if you introduce object A by the end of the conclusion or whatever, you should have referenced it or had something to do with it. You don't introduce an object and then do nothing with it.
Like a MacGuffin?
Kinda. So I appreciate that. What I found frustrating as a long-term fan was like with the Ranger Vault. It was like, surprise, we have a Ranger Vault. It's here for the team up. It's been here the whole time, but now it's actually just here for the team up. That would have been awesome to have been referenced in the first season. And I think that's maybe my frustration is the first season, like as a whole from start to finish, is a great season. And they ended it perfectly. Like you could have ended Beast Morphers at the end of the season and been fine. Like it had an ending, everything was good to go. So the second season just really does feel tied to this team up, which isn't necessarily fair to the season because I feel like it doesn't do it enough justice for the series as a whole.
I feel like
someone in the chat says Chekhov's gun is what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, we said it. Yeah.
Power Rangers suffers from the fact. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse that they have to work within Sentai footage parameters. Because they could have all these great ideas, but if the footage doesn't match it, or they don't have the budget necessarily to shoot it to make sense. So like that Ranger Vault, I'm assuming that's not in the Sentai footage. It's probably just for the team up. But had they referenced it earlier, they would have had to have done something with it earlier. So I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right.
But it's just it's unfortunate because like there's so many storyline things that you wish could have should have happened. Like I remember Yoshi and I again, him and I just geeked and talked a bunch because we were Ranger fans before we were cast. So on Dino Charge, we were like, why can't Keeper be evil? Like we're working for this alien. He just comes out of nowhere and we're like collecting these energems for him and we're just like taking him at his word. And what if he just like lies to all of us and becomes the villain? Like that would have been such a cool plot twist, but they didn't want like our mentor or kids to not trust mentors, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
But
the mentor leaves you alone and walks away.
Just pull a Bioshock at the end. Would you kindly give me the energem?
One of the hardest things
what?
to remember
Yeah, you have Kendall, so
is that this is a kid's show, and we forget that as fans that there's a certain line that can't be crossed in terms of storytelling. That that'd be super awesome. Like you're about like having the mentor turn evil. You're like, oh my gosh, it'd be so great. That could never fly on a kid's show. Not on broadcast on Nickelodeon. Not on Nickelodeon.
It's done before in the past.
Yeah, they could do it.
You haven't watched Avatar lately.
Like, to be honest, my 3-year-old's creeped out by Keeper as it is. So, good or evil,
I'm
she's
creeped
like,
out by
I
him.
don't like that guy.
Tokuchris, you said not a kid's show. How many times has Mr. Krabs tried to sell out SpongeBob for money?
there you go.
His mentor. He sold him to Plankton.
When SpongeBob makes or when Power Rangers makes the kind of money SpongeBob does, then Power Rangers can do that too.
So I just have this like image of like at the very end of Dino Charge, everyone's like, "Oh, I've got these energems. You've got them all together," and Keeper just goes "Soik" and just grabs them all and just runs off.
Yeah, having to fight this all-powerful being from space without our energems. We have to team up with Snide or something. It would have been cool. And then like maybe they could have then used the Dark Ranger suit. Like he was the one energem that Keeper didn't have, and then like
yeah,
that would have been cool.
It was the Dark Ranger suit never ever going to appear in your guys' show from what you?
I don't even think it was in New Zealand, if memory serves, because I feel like I would have taken a picture with it. Because I actually have like, well, Chip lied to us. So in the beginning of the season, he's like, guys, so at the end of your time here, I'm gonna give whoever makes the best scrapbook, I'm gonna give you a prize, like this object that there's only one of, kind of thing. It's like we're all hyped, and only have a couple of us ended up doing it, but I made a really good scrapbook, and by me I mean my wife worked really hard on it, and it was so good. And I took pictures, like you know how Tyler like would take selfies all the time in the show. So I did a selfie with like every single monster, like all of them. And at the end, Chip was like, your prize is the fact that you have all these memories in this scrapbook.
Oh man.
You're right, Chip. I do. Thank you. It was funny. I don't remember where I was going with that, but that was all.
Good story.
Thanks.
Nice.
Now, Brennan, like you're a special case because you were a fan, and then you were on Power Rangers, and then you still continue to ingrain yourself into the fandom. Like there's a few Rangers that after they're done, it's like one and done and hit the gate. Do you feel like that was something that you had to do, or something that you just really wanted to do to continue being in fan films and working with the community and just trying to keep Tyler's character alive, in a sense?
Well, again, for me, it's different because like I've been on other shows. Like when I was in American Horror Story, like I only started watching it after I booked it to like figure out, what was happening. When I worked on the first episode of iCarly, it wasn't like there was, seasons of iCarly to watch to like tell me what iCarly was or whatever. Power Rangers was something I was super familiar with as a kid, and it was like a dream role. So yeah, I'm fully aware, like I'm done filming unless somehow they invite me back again. But I still enjoy it. And if, sometimes I'm approached to like do fan films, and if timing and location and stuff works, it's fun. Like, I don't know. I like Power Rangers and I like being a part of it. So obviously I still want to keep doing other roles, and I have done other roles since, but I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, I got to distance myself from it because people are going to think I'm only a Ranger. I mean, if people want to think I'm a Ranger, cool. I'll be a Ranger to them, but like, I'm still a human being. But like, if a kid thinks I'm Tyler,
yeah,
okay, I'm not going to shatter that bubble for the kid. Like, that's up to the parent when they want to talk about Santa Claus and Tyler and all the same like story, like they're not real. That's not my job. But yeah, I just have fun. I don't know.
And I feel like Hasbro or Saban has seen that, and that's why they've been so open to bringing you back for multiple crossovers, because you are a great liaison or ambassador for the brand, and we'll just keep him in the family, because we know that he can carry on this legacy going forward.
I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know. It's one thing I think a lot of people forget. People don't go into acting necessarily to be role models, but if you play a character who is a role model, there's a certain level of responsibility I feel like you now have. Like, don't take the role. Like, don't play a certain character that's going to be, this hero to kids if you're never going to like want to talk to a kid and like make their day, Yeah. So, I mean, that's my opinion. People are different. They're like, no, it was just a role, whatever. It was a paycheck, I'm done. But for me, like, I had the Green Ranger come to one of my birthday parties. Like, that was, that was a big deal to me. So it's so cool to be a part of it. And like with the team up happening eventually in the US and already happening in the UK, like just being tagged in a bunch of photos on Instagram, it's really cool that people, whether they like it or not, like, okay, like you're invited back. The storyline is what it is. You don't get to ad lib, like, but they don't call me in the room like, do you like the script? It's like, this is the script. You do it or you don't. Like, but yeah, I don't know.
Brennan, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I went to a kid's birthday party. He was a really good friend of mine, and he's a huge Power Ranger fan, and Dino Charge was on. Oh, man, that kid had the biggest Dino Charge birthday ever. And I actually went in there. My friend was wearing a Dino Thunder suit. I was wearing my other suit, and it was just his love for, like, you and Dino Charge and stuff, and then to have Rangers there. It reminded you, saying you had a Green Ranger his birthday. This kid's never gonna forget. He had 2 Power Rangers stop at his birthday, and here he is repping Dino Charge Red, and maybe one day he'll be the next Red Ranger.
Ooh. He might. You never know. And that's like, that was the thing. Like, I auditioned for Samurai. When I didn't get it, I was so like jaded. I just didn't want anything to do with Power Rangers anymore. And so like I never went for the audition for Megaforce. And then when I ended up in Dino Charge because a friend kind of like, just go. And I did. And then I booked it. And it was just like so surreal. And I don't know, it was just like one of those things that it doesn't always have to stay a dream. Like, why not you? Like, we always feel like we're separated from what we really want to do sometimes. But sometimes you can do what you really want to do. Like, it's just one of those stories, like, don't give up kind of thing.
Yeah, man, if that dude Albert can be a Power Ranger on your season, I could be one too, right?
Hey, Albert was legit. So are you. But you have to watch Avatar first, though.
And the ones with good man, don't let your dreams be dreams.
How far did you get in the Samurai audition? I never asked you that.
I went to 3 rounds. So, I mean, to put that in perspective, I auditioned 5 times for Dino Charge. But the 5th one was like a fake audition where they just told me I had to come back, and then they told me I was the Red Rangers.
Crazy.
So I guess 1 before I would have made it.
Real quick for everybody that's in this little group, I think there's 11 of us. What's the one thing you're going to miss about Power Morphicon not being this year?
Way to bring the room down, Joe. God.
Gonna miss seeing all of you guys.
It's true. It's true.
What did I miss? It froze for me.
So Ryan and I, we have a friend from the Midwest, and we were going to take him out to dinner because he's part of our squad, and he's never been around LA to like eat. We were going to take him to places around Pasadena that we know are really good, and we were going to have people from We the Geeks and everyone come over, and we would all go in and we would do something for him. So that hit me because I'm like, he's a good friend of ours now and everything like that. Plus, I was going to hang out with John Tui too, so.
Yeah, John was cool.
He's a good drinker.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. So.
Oh yeah, we do know.
I want to go at least 10 rounds of shots.
I gotta get going, guys.
All right.
Take care, Brandon. Thank you so much for stopping by, man.
Brandon. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
highly recommend the episode to watch that you're in. So when
Yeah,
it airs in the US.
It's very good. It's
It
very
is
good.
good.
here
It
in
is
the UK.
great.
Where does it rank? Just one last question on your team up crossover episode.
You're
yes.
putting us on the spot right now.
It's number one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's number one.
For me, it breaks top 5.
I think there's only been
It's in the top
5,
five.
Leo.
No, screw that's number one, man.
Yeah, I would say.
I didn't
for
say
sure.
where it's at. I just said it's in the top 5.
I would say like top 3. I mean, I think that I think now they're starting to figure out how important these bigger team up things are.
Mhm.
And because if you look at last season, what they did Dimension and Danger is a one-off, right? This one had a little bit more build-up. I feel that if they do this in Dino Fury, hopefully they do, and if it's same people, we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
I think that they might have a better understanding of how important a lot of longtime fans kind of view this. So
Yeah, I think. I mean, just last thoughts. People forget where Rangers has come and like how many different producers and directors and like hands it's changed. So for them to even get out, this that spans multiple episodes is a step in the right direction versus like 20 minutes. Let's just all do it really quick. And like, of course, we always want more, and it should have been longer still because we know the Sentai footage has even more because they are given more free reign. But for what they worked with, I feel like things could have been better, but they could have been way worse as well. So I, for one, am like, knowing where they're going, it's like, all right, cool. Like that was cool. That should have been more, but at least they're working in the right direction, So like you mentioned. So
all right, thank you, Brennan.
thanks for joining us, Brennan. We appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Farewell.
So for all of you guys that are left, I know Leo was talking about his what he's going to miss most about Morphicon. What about you guys? Because obviously, I mean, I am going to miss all you guys. That's the only time I see Eric Berry ever. Is it Power Morphicon? I think so. And Tokuchris, I really see you at Power Morphicon, and I guess San Diego Comic Con, really.
San Diego, yeah, I was all gone this year. Jeez.
Oh,
So
man.
and same thing with you, Liz. So like, it is a communal experience with Power Rangers for the good and the bad.
Yeah, I miss everything a lot. Like I'd be, it's like, oh man, if I lived in LA or somewhere, I'd be able to see some guys more. But yeah, I live in St. Louis. Like I'm on the armpit of America. Like nobody comes to St. Louis.
Hey,
Nobody. I mean, Chris like drove through, and I think he sped up like as he went by the arch. He's like,
4
"F this place."
times in 30 days.
Oh my!
It was crazy. I kept telling him he could sleep on my couch, but COVID, I wouldn't let him in my house.
COVID, guns.
But no, man, I miss. Hey, I live in a safe area. We've only had like 3 murders in the last year in my zip code. I live in seriously. St. Louis is like the most dangerous place in the United States. You just don't go north. You're fine. Oh no, we're way more dangerous than Chicago.
Chirac, okay.
Really?
Oh no, oh yeah, totally.
Where's
Look
the
up. It's
Chirac?
like we're like in the top 10 most dangerous cities in the world. Like we're more dangerous than places like it. Yeah, no, seriously. Just don't go north and you're fine. Or east. Just stay south.
Or west.
You should be fine. Look, we're back to the Morphicon part. I miss you guys. Seriously, I miss just like ending up in the nicest way possible. Ending up in someone like Chris's room who has like people over, and it's just like being able to see your friends and
Wait,
not typing.
Like, where are you going with this? We don't talk about some of that stuff.
What happens at Morphicon? No, it's just
Days
it's
at
that
Morphicon.
personal feeling. It's that like I see you guys on the screen, I see you and we can chat in real time. But I look, y'all, I like to hug, okay? Like I really like just giving you a hug and that personal whatever and just not having Morphicon where we're not all coming together. It's hard, man. It hurts the soul.
It does.
This is true. I think that with all this COVID stuff going on, it's turned obviously the world upside down. But Morphicon was like the one thing. Like I Jester knows this. I was like, I'm not going to any conventions besides San Diego this year and Morphicon. And then here we are. I'm not doing anything this year.
You jinxed it, Joe. You jinxed it.
Damn it, Joe. It's all my fault. The Flash went back too far, Leo. Maybe that's one of your crimes.
Damn it, Barry.
Damn it, Barry. Damn it.
Again.
But I mean,
No, but it is usually a lot of fun with all you guys. So I have a question. How do you think they're gonna introduce the cast now for Dino Fury?
I
love
really
this
hope.
kind of online reveal,
Yeah,
Trailer.
live stream, something.
it might be just a special like live stream from Hasbro, live stream from a con. I don't know. It might be one of those things.
I selfishly don't want them to.
I would want to wait till the first trailer of the actual TV series.
Yep.
Actually,
That's
no.
what I
Why
was
don't you just don't like? Remember back then, you don't even find out the cast until the first episode.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, let's go way old school. Let's
Were you
not
saying
even know who
Airlim?
the cast is.
Let's just not have a trailer till the episode premiere.
Yeah.
What? No.
Well, I mean, then you only get a trailer about a week before.
Your marketing's gonna be a disaster and everything like that. We won't get enough toys. Like,
Oh, we got old footage. We can show the Ranger stuff. We don't just show any of the new stuff.
so we're just gonna bring back Power Rangers Generations. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
We got our trailer. It was Rue Soldier. There you go. There's the trailer.
Yeah, that's it.
I would love socially distanced photo, like a press photo with them all just standing 2 meters apart, and then just thumbs up, and that's it. And you'd be just going, great. And also, if they can add a little bit of grain to it, so it looks really bad, and just be like, we took this on like a really old cell phone, and there you go. It's a fossil, and then you're like,
Ooh.
boom,
Razor phone.
How are they gonna handle morphs? Like, I would love a COVID-19
morph,
like, civilian footage, just all that stuff.
Explosions.
Well, they go to
2
do their
meters
morphs.
apart.
They're all six. Yeah, they're all what is it, 6 feet apart or whatever. Just like it's like they're lined up for a team up morph. There's just nobody else there but them. And there's
Explosions in between them.
Just a camera just left on the floor.
They all have
just
masks.
pointing
They're
up.
now it's Dino Ninja Fury, and they're all going to wear masks.
It is going to be interesting though, because I think that we're so trained to have Morphicon be like, okay, we obviously know the next cast reveal is coming, and now it feels like, well, I don't know. I just don't know what Hasbro's going to do it with that at all.
I would love, and this is what I just thought of, is like a clip of like Ben and Betty holding files, and then they fall over, and you just see like the whole photos like spill across, and it's just literally got them in the suits, and they're like, oh no, like not even the commander sees this, and they like kind of put it up, and then Cruz comes in and does something. But I think that would be absolutely awesome.
It's got their social media handles and everything on there.
Can
That's
the
some
Meow
metal. That's
Rangers
some
also
Metal
be
Gear
there?
Solid shenanigans right there. When you look at the back of the thing, it's Meryl's Codex.
I've been in this Power Ranger game a long time, Eric. I'm just very, very curious. Talk to me just on the behind the scenes note. Who do you think, like in terms of PR companies, did you have a better relationship with Saban or Hasbro? Like, have you seen a change behind the scenes?
Not really. It still feels the same. I mean, they might be using a different PR company, but we get things like every once in a while, just like little tidbits. Actually, I have a better relationship like with Boom Studios, like PR people. So, yeah.
It's interesting because I personally felt like a weird shift. Tokuchris and I talk about this kind of a lot now. They kind of clam up a lot now around us. Yeah.
They know we know too much now because they're the ones talking too much. They just didn't realize people were listening.
Well, that's a good point to bring up because we all cover Power Rangers in different kinds of ways. Do you think it's beneficial for information that may not necessarily, that would usually be big for like something like Marvel? Do you think it's beneficial for Power Rangers to release that information and kind of be forthcoming? For example, I know that we found out that Jason was coming back a year ago, but had there been a little bit more buildup around that, and who else might have been coming back? Is that beneficial information to put out?
For Power Rangers, if you want it to be as big as you want it to be, maybe, but it's not a giant property. I mean, and we forget that sometimes. We're kind of in our little bubble with it. But the problem that Hasbro has is they can't really seem to control. So like you have hype for the show, but for us older fans, right? We've seen the Sentai, so we kind of know the ending. It's just a matter of how we get there and use the footage and all that stuff. So for a lot of older fans, it's about the collectibles, right? The toys. They're, for whatever reason, they've, in the last year and a half, I mean, everything we know, all this stuff coming out, you can buy and pre-order stuff on Amazon UK that they haven't even announced yet.
Right.
So that is where I feel the shortcomings start, and I think it just bleeds over entirely, and it comes from the fact that you have Hasbro, the toy company, and then different production or entertainment companies tied into Hasbro, and there's not a lot of talking between them, so to speak. And I think that's where you're seeing a lot of the issues come forth. But could Power Rangers benefit from it? If Power Rangers took itself more seriously, then maybe people will start taking it more seriously too.
Liz, what's the one thing that you want to see change in Power Rangers? Not necessarily the fandom, but from what the company is doing to provide us, either with information or just a change with the show, something that can attract more viewers and more fans to it.
I think simply the first thing I would say was they need to have previews. I watch a lot of Nickelodeon, Nick Jr. and stuff, Disney Channel stuff, because again, I have a 3.5-year-old daughter. So I'm watching this stuff and I'm seeing, I couldn't tell you, I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I saw a Henry Danger coming up tomorrow on Henry Danger, like I could buy enough crap to stop listening to them. Like they kept, like, Nickelodeon, I'm always seeing, here's a brand new clip from next week's Loud House, here's a brand new clip from next week's whatever. You just don't get that with Power Rangers. It's the same generic clip. And so if you're a kid, you're like, well, that's the same thing I saw 3-4 weeks ago. Why would I want to go watch a new episode? And I really think they just need something that makes kids want to watch it. And I do see some commercials scattered here and there, and usually it is things like the Loud House, things that are maybe a bit more, I don't know, I want to say maybe like 7 to 10 years old. I think they just have a really hard problem with finding who they need to advertise to, because are they advertising the 3-year-olds? Because I'm not seeing it with 3-year-old cartoons, but I'm seeing it with older kids who aren't watching it. Chris?
Is all that stuff owned by Nickelodeon though?
That's the thing.
There you go.
With Hasbro, it's that Hasbro's got to do something with trying to promote the show more, whether that's clips or, I don't know, bombard me with YouTube ads. I don't care what it is, but they're just not promoting the show to where kids would even know about it or want to watch it.
Well,
Airlim and Ryan, has Hasbro won you guys over, knowing that that Power Rangers in safe hands with them?
Right now it's mixed, because one, I do not support them putting it early, like 8:00 a.m. Like, come on, who wakes up 8:00? I wish it would be like around 12 p.m. Like, time frame line. It's slowly winning me over with these episodes, these current episodes, but again, right now it's mixed. It's mixed for me right now.
For me, I think I'm still waiting for the next season. I'm giving them a pass on most of the stuff that they're doing now because it's their first time doing it. So for the next seasons, when I'm going to be like taking notice is if they're going to get rid of certain elements. I think having like comedy characters kind of needs to drop, because I think you saw the difference between the 5 to 6 episodes where you didn't have Ben and Betty, but then you had like little bits of comedy like the Rangers were saying, and that was a lot more, that was funnier. I think that when you had like Victor and Monty, it was overly like cringe, where you just be like, if you could take them out of the episode, it would be fine. I also think that they need to get rid of this hiatus, because it is just killing the brand, because no one's going to come back and go, oh, do you remember Power Rangers? It was on 6 months ago. What happened in that episode? And it's like, you get the previously on Power Rangers, but it's more the fact that you want to watch it. So when it's been airing over here every day, I'm like, I need to know what happens next. So they need to turn around and go, get rid of this hiatus and just kind of stitch it together and make it a better run. But until Dino Fury comes out, I can't really say it's a better way. It's gone a lot better than Samurai, than Ninja Steel, that's for sure. And I've been enjoying it. I love the kind of adult tones, where I don't remember the last time we saw in any Power Ranger episode where you have like the one main villain manipulate and emotionally blackmail one of the Rangers and go, oh, please get this for me because, it's the good times. And then it's gone, here you go. You go, aha, I tricked you. Like, when did that happen next?
It's a good answer. Man, I think we've exhausted our time. I mean, we went solid almost 2 hours. It's been a lot of fun. One last question for everybody here, and this is really for Tokuchris, honestly. But I'm just very curious. If there's one Power Ranger Lightning Collection figure that has not been made yet that you want to see, what is that one figure?
I'll let everyone else go ahead of me on that one.
Okay.
I'll go.
Titanium Ranger.
All right.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go Phantom Ranger.
Blue Centurion.
I'm gonna go with RJ, but I was gonna go with what Liz was gonna go with, but that's doubled that one. So RJ for me.
Solaris Knight. There you go. Because of John Tui, because he actually wants a toy. So.
Oh, that's a hard one.
And then we got Liz's answer. Liz is going with Gia.
I will say that. Sorry, they will need to bring one out. Scruzzle.
Oh, yes. Campbell's character.
No. I want a Cosmo Lightning Collection. but Power Ranger wise, I wish I can play the clip, but the clip takes too long. I want the Quantum Ranger. I think Eric needs one. Yeah. Eric needs a Lightning Collection figure.
I thought you wanted Carter. I have the Carter.
Oh,
bro.
my bad. Yeah. Well, outside of that, but first Carter Grayson. Can I get Carter Grayson first? The greatest Red Ranger to ever live.
Oh.
Right.
The greatest Red Ranger is Carter Grayson. Can I get a Lightning Collection of him first, then the Quantum Ranger? But Carter first.
Corey?
Kid?
Yeah.
Gia, she says.
I gotta go with Ziggy RPM Green, one of my favorite Green Rangers of all time.
You remind me of a Ziggy.
Yeah, you do.
There's common interest with me and Ziggy. The reason he's my favorite.
Corey, how about you, my friend?
Oh, I don't. They already have a red.
Enjoy.
Oh, they already.
Shut up, man.
He wants another Red Ranger.
He wants another MMPR Red Ranger.
He wants the metallic armor.
I have all 3 versions of Jason. I'm okay. I'm all right.
Now he wants
you need one more. You need metallic armor, Jason.
He wants the metallic armor.
Get every variant.
I'll probably need that too.
No, he wants Kid Rocky, Jason.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
I think that's gonna do it for us, guys. Where can let's start with Morphin Network. Where can everybody find you guys on social media?
You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter at Morphin Network or at MorphinNet.
What about
Airlim? How about you, my friend?
YouTube, Instagram, Airlim on Twitter, Mainstream Live.
RangerLiz.
I'm RangerLiz. That's me. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, yada yada. I'm RangerLiz.
Tokuchris.
Hey, so real quick, my Lightning Collection figure I never got to answer.
Oh,
yes,
shoot.
Yes.
It's
Boo.
shame. No, I have 3, and they all have a reason behind them. So number 1 would be, actually, I'm sorry, 4. So you have Titanium Ranger, right? Because first U.S. Ranger, right?
Yep.
Number 2, Jen, Time Force. Like,
great call.
One of the strongest female characters ever in the brand. Like, let's get her an action figure. The Red Wolf Warrior from Mystic Force, because technically never had a U.S. release figure. There was a prototype release that some people have. I think Morgan from Ranger Board has one in the U.K. So that's one of them. And then the Ninja Storm Green Samurai Ranger, because we have either Figuarts or legacy figures of everything else, and we never had a green Samurai Ranger figure come out to be able to kind of complete a set, even if it's off by half an inch or something. So those would be my top 4. Is where you can find me at Tokuchris everywhere.
What about you, Eric Berry? Ranger Command Power Hour.
Woo! So you can find my personal stuff at TrekkieB47 online. Ranger Command Power Hour is on Twitter at Ranger Command PH, and we're at Ranger Command Power Hour, all one word, on Facebook and Instagram. And you can always check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that stuff.
Toku Kid, how about you, my friend?
Well, aside from when I'm on Illuminerdi, Toku Kid 1 and Toku Kid on basically everything. On my YouTube, you can find all my minor VFX videos I do.
Corey?
C. Gibson Rex, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook.
And Jezer?
You can find me on all social media at Jezer Zeus.
And you can find me at Joe Illuminerdi on all social media and right here at the Illuminerdi. I want to thank all of our Ranger Nation for coming together for our first annual team up. You know, maybe. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. Ranger Nation, you guys turned out. Thank you guys so much. And special thanks to Brennan Mejia for joining us live. That is it, guys. Go and then rewatch the team up again. And hit that like, share, and subscribe. And for all of us that are doing this. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye guys.
Peace.